Well, there have been a lot of emotional displays in the Jodi Arias trial, you could say. So what is behind all of that? Jury consultant and body language expert Susan Constantine joins me now. Susan, great to talk to you.
Hi.
A lot to
Good morning.
talk about. Good morning to you. It seemed that Jodi's demeanor changed during closing arguments. She cried, smiled even. Listen to what her attorney said, then we'll talk about it after.
It's not even about whether or not you like Jodi Arias. 9 days out of 10, I don't like Jodi Arias. But that doesn't matter. Your liking her or not liking her does not objectively assess the evidence. It's about the evidence. What happened?
And Susan, I think he had to say that because when you think about the jury questions, you got a sense that they didn't really like Jodi, and her reaction afterwards, a bit of a smile. What'd you make of that?
Yes. Well, think about a time maybe you've ever heard somebody going to a funeral or a wedding and they start laughing at the most awkward moments. This is actually what we call duping delight. It's actually an expression that is a release at the most awkward time. But duping delight is where they think it's funny. They think that they've duped you. They pulled one over on you. So when she's listening to that, what's happening is she's getting this release that's coming out, laughter at the most awkward moment, duping delight.
And both families during this trial were emotional, especially it was difficult looking at Travis Alexander's sisters and brothers during it. Do you think that will weigh heavily on what the jury decides? Do they kind of scan the courtroom?
Yes, it does. In fact, when I am consulting with my clients in jury selection and even throughout the trial, I said, listen, they are going to look as much as at you as they are at the people that are going to be in the gallery. So this is what's really important, that they have to put their best foot forward. When they see the jury sees the parents crying and the sisters crying. That's going to be huge because no juror wants to step over a dead body and pretend it never happened. They want some sort of justification, and at this point, when they're seeing the family so upset, they can't help be moved by the emotions, by the same emotions that they're feeling, which is empathy and remorse.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't easy for Travis's family to be there day in and day out, 57 days of the trial, but I believe they felt that their presence mattered in this, and as you said, it does. This has probably taken an emotional toll, Susan, on the jury as well. As I mentioned, 57 days to hear all of this testimony and all of the evidence.
Yes, and this jury fatigue at this point. And, it's really interesting because doing a lot of these episodes with you and talking about trials, and of course, being a jury consultant myself, I like to interview people afterwards, if I can. And I said, what are you thinking as a juror? Having to be in the courtroom every single day for long periods of time, and some of them even sequestered. I said, Susan, let me tell you, the only thing we're thinking about is getting the verdict in, and so we can go home and resume a normal life. So there's a tremendous amount of pressure that's put on them. Think about it. If we were not at home for almost 3 months, imagine how that would impact your life.
Yeah, and this jury has a lot of work ahead of them. Deliberations resume again on Monday. We shall see what happens. Susan, thank you.
My pleasure.
We are on Jodi Arias' verdict watch all weekend long right here on HLN, and we will be watching as the jury goes back to work tomorrow, Monday afternoon. Keep it right here for our continuing coverage of the Jodi Arias trial.